How you doing? Good to see you. It's not good to see me, don't lie.
It doesn't help out the investigation when you're holding cards.
You know what?
It doesn't help us out as an agency either.
You know, kinda it does. Law enforcement has a luxury the citizens don't. They when they're being investigated, they're presented with all the evidence that they can review before they speak.
If something were to get out prior to the IA being completed, then it could potentially ruin the IA.
He genuinely feels like that blue line is going to protect him. And if I give him, that's not hard to understand. So I don't want to have to keep coming back to the Orange City Police Department, but here we are again. In a previous video, you saw that they finally concluded an internal investigation into their officer, Shadrach King. Definitely check out that video if you haven't seen it, it's insane. But it was quickly obvious to me that Shadrach King was not honest with investigators in his sworn testimony when interviewed. Since making the initial complaint, I had a strong suspicion he may do that, and I was prepared for it. So we're coming in today to see if we can discuss what to do next with somebody and get some public documents relating to that IA, and to see how they would handle things like this, if what I say is true. Makes you feel any better? I hate having to come up here all the time too. I need a couple of things. I want to request the transcripts for any interviews with Shadrach King, reference IA 23-16. How are you, Hilton? How you doing? Good to see you. It's not good to see me, don't lie.
Okay, transcripts for involving King.
What's that? Transcripts for, yeah, any IA interviews with King. I guess we'll do that to start. And also, I would imagine the chief won't talk to me, but I've got some issues that have to be addressed with his response, his conclusion to that IA. I would like to find out if any action would be taken against an officer. We won't even talk about that IA, just in general, hypothetically. If it was found that an officer lied during sworn testimony in something like, I don't know, an internal investigation, what action they might take against that?
I would see if there is somebody that can help me, because I know that Chief's not actually in for the next 2 days.
Oh, he's not?
No.
Okay.
So, we check on both of those things.
Yeah, I hate to make you the middle person, but I got a couple concerns. Like I said before, I don't want to keep coming back here. 9 months ago, this could have been concluded just by saying, hey, yeah, all right, we screwed that up. They made a mistake. We got to fix that. That's it. It's that simple. I don't want to keep coming up here, battling the same thing. It's ridiculous how far this has gone. Absolutely insane.
So he's on a call when he comes.
I'll be up here in just a minute.
He is going to come out?
Yeah, well, he's going to come over, yeah.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Thank you. What's going on? I know you're frustrated to see me, and if it makes you feel any better, I'm frustrated too. I genuinely, I don't want to keep doing this. It just always seems to be one thing after another. I wish this would have been done 9 months ago, simply just like, hey, okay, it is what it is, that's it. So, as you saw, the chief concluded the IA, right? As a general question, what action, if any, would be taken if an officer was found to have lied under sworn testimony in an internal investigation?
Did he lie on sworn testimony?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You would have to.
If that happened.
You'd have to tell us what he lied about.
Right.
What he looked into.
Okay, so I just requested the transcripts because I would like to read his interviews as well. But from the chief's response, one of the times that he accessed my, I know he accessed it twice. He pulled up 5 files, accessed it twice. By 5 times, that's what I meant. He viewed 5 things, right, but pulled it up twice. The same date, like 7/29 and 8/40 or whatever. I had pulled the CAD history too. I think I submitted everything initially. The first time he accessed my information was he was on a suspicious person call as a backup. Now, Miller says that his intent there was to charge me with harassment. You know, no harassment had taken place up until that point. Well, even to this point, I've never harassed anybody, but we had very minimal encounters by that point. But to justify his initial reason for pulling up my information, David, he says that's what it was. Coincidentally, he claims an hour later he was being followed by a suspicious vehicle, and he used David to run that tag at 8:40 in the morning of September 10th, 2023. He used David to run the tag and found that it was me in my vehicle. I would love to hear what vehicle he says that was, and because I will tell, there are things I intentionally have not said because I wanted, if it's going to go that route, instead of just truth, I like to leave the opportunity open for someone to tangle themselves up in lies. As you know how that works.
Submit for the records.
What's that?
Did you submit a public records request for the IA file?
I did. I just got the transcripts. I have the. I should just get the whole file on here. But I want to hear specifically what vehicle that he said it was. But regardless of what vehicle it was. What's that?
It would be in that file.
Yeah, right, exactly. But, you know, my thing is, I kind of wish when he was asked about that, you know, it was just his word was just taken as truth. Oh, you're being followed by a vehicle and it was his. Okay, we got it. You know, instead of maybe contacting me, like, hey, where were you do you know where you were that day? Because that's a piece.
Did you not interview with the detective?
No, never.
Did she call you and ask you to interview?
She emailed me and asked me if I wanted to come in. Obviously, I asked if I could record. She said no. I asked if we could do it in the lobby or something. She said no. I said I would like to do it where I can record. I asked her if there is anything that she needs from me because I'm happy to provide it and to let me know. She said at that time she didn't need anything.
Detective Dagley, Orange City.
Is there anything? I know I provided like a lot. And I assume you got everything that I brought in or I emailed to Oshami or all, you know.
Yes, I have. I have a big folder of a bunch of stuff. I haven't looked through all of it yet, but I have looked through majority of it. So as of right now, I have everything that you provided me.
Okay. Is there anything at this point specifically that you know of that you need from me, or? I mean,
At this point, no, but if I need anything, I will definitely reach out to you.
Okay, I'm definitely willing to provide whatever it is. It's just, we just have that stalemate where, I have to document anything, you know what I mean? And especially given the circumstances, I would think you can, you can understand that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know Lieutenant El-Shami did advise that the interview is recorded on our end as well, and everything after that, after the investigation is completed is, public record. So, I mean,
right, yeah.
Obviously I understand you guys don't want to come behind closed doors and if you're not able to record, so I understand that.
I guess my main point is, I just want to make it very clear. I'm not saying I'm not cooperating, and I am willing to talk and discuss it. It's just, the scenario would just have to be slightly different. And I just wanted to make sure that that's not going to have any bearing, it closed out and say, he won't cooperate or anything like that. I just want to make sure that it's not going to be like stamped no cooperation and case closed or anything like that. As long as it's going forward and it's clear that, I'm definitely willing to cooperate, provide whatever is needed, then we're good. That's all I needed. If there is anything specific that you need that I haven't already sent, like you said, email, and I'll definitely make sure you get it.
Sounds good. I'll get with you if I need anything.
All right. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. Thanks, man.
Bye. And I said,
why didn't you just have it without recording? You get a copy of the recording after the investigation.
well, it's not that easy. I don't just get a copy.
Yeah, you get a copy of it.
Well, I could request.
Public record.
I could request. Well, like the chief said, I'm welcome to purchase a copy, right? I'm welcome to request to purchase a copy.
Okay.
That's just my policy. Like you guys have policies. It's just my policy, for just for transparency and to protect myself and the other party, right? I document everything. I record everything.
Right, and everything's documented in that.
Right, and you guys do that so you know that you have it. I do it to know that I have it, right? My copy can't be redacted. I don't have to pay for my copy. I have my copy immediately.
Your copy can get redacted by you if you so choose.
Right, but it's already my copy, so anything I might need is in there already.
But see, if you have an IA, you did investigation.
You're right, yeah.
You know that it can, if something were to get out prior to the IA being completed, then it could potentially ruin the IA.
Right, I get that, but
So that would be a good reason why we wouldn't want anything that's said during an interview of an IA to get out before the IA is completed.
Right. Well, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I've always understood that, but it's my policy. Even when I did this job, I told people I recommended do not speak without documenting it yourself. Okay. It's just good practice. Yeah, I mean, we're going to disagree on it, but
so the thing is, what I was trying to get at originally was if you had additional information, you as the person filing the complaint should have said, "Hey, I need to give you this information. I need to give you more."
Well, here's the thing. Well, had I known, I didn't say that initially.
I'm not saying verbatim. I'm
Right.
giving an example.
Right. Had I known that had come up, yes, I would have said it. That's something that I left out. I had a feeling he might say he encountered me or something, so I gathered some things to cover that, but I'm not going to provide it because law enforcement has a luxury the citizens don't. They when they're being investigated, they're presented with all the evidence that they can review before they speak. So he can line everything up. Okay, he's already proven this, he's already proven that. So if an officer wants to lie, they see what they've got to dance around already, right? So if I don't say these things, that leaves that open for a cop or anybody to potentially trip themselves up, which is not my goal. I just want someone to be truthful and honest.
But you have to also understand from our perspective as an investigator, we want to know all the facts. We don't want things hidden from us before we go into an interview.
We got to pause right there for a second and remember what he said just a short time ago. What he's saying here is I should have put everything out there, all the information I can think of, all of the proof, all of the evidence, every single thing that I know, I should have provided that initially. And remember something we covered in a recent video, the police officer's Bill of Rights, which means that every single thing that I provided to them initially with the initial complaint, every image, every video, every statement, anything, before anything was done with any of that evidence, it was handed to Shadrach for review, a luxury that the people don't get when they're accused of things. So an officer in a position such as that, they're able to use all of that information to fully prepare themselves before they do any sort of interview or give any sort of statement. Now, what did El-Shami previously say?
It can, if something were to get out prior to the IA being completed, then it could potentially ruin the IA.
So they have to understand that goes both ways. Just generally speaking, if you have a cop or any government official that's being deceptive in an interview, the more they know about the evidence against them can potentially ruin the IA. What I've done here isn't magic. It's nothing special. It's just a tactic used by law enforcement themselves. Very frequently, actually. Let me know what you think in the comments, but let's get back into this. I get that.
That us out to interview the officer as well.
I get that, but don't you understand what I'm saying there?
I get what you're saying.
He gets to review. He gets to review everything I've said, every bit of evidence that I provided. He gets to review that before he responds or before he is interviewed.
We're going back and forth when this all could have been.
No. See, my point is, if I had said that, he's going to know he can't claim what he claimed because he knows I've got evidence against it. If I leave that out, it left it open for him to do what he did. And if I give everything, man, we both, we know how this works. I'm not saying people are different, right? But we know how things work. And we know how sometimes people dance around truth, right? And especially, like, if I was charged with a bank robbery and I'm presented with all the evidence, the videos, everything, I'm going to look at all that and I'm like, all right, I'll come up with my story that this can't, call me out on. So when Dagley did reach out to me, I called her back. I called her and I said, hey, please don't take this as I'm not cooperating. I'm happy if anything comes up, any information, please let me know. I'm happy to provide any information you might need, answer any questions. And I made that a point to make it very, very clear to her, because I didn't want it to be, he's not cooperating just because I wanted to document it myself. I wanted to be very, very clear. I'm willing to cooperate. And, I'd provided a lot of evidence already. I can provide more if needed. So my point was, if someone had reached out to me and said, hey, Shadrach says that he ran your tag on this day because a suspicious vehicle was following him that turned out to be yours. Right then, I would have said, okay, if that's what he testified to, I'll show you this to show you he was lying to you. But that didn't happen. It just got closed out. And I see that that's one of the things that were said in there. And I mean, that was the biggest standout thing, because that's something I reserved. That's a card I kept in my back pocket.
And that's what I'm trying to say is it doesn't help out the investigation when you're holding cards.
You know what?
It doesn't help us out as an agency either.
Kind of it does, because this is my opinion. We're dealing with somebody who feels like he's bulletproof. He can get away with anything. He feels that he's bragged these things. The agency's not going to touch him. Nobody's going to do anything. He genuinely feels like that blue line is going to protect him. And if I give him, that's not hard to understand. You know what I'm saying? If he sees all of the evidence, so it kind of is doing the agency a favor. If the agency is, true in everything that we've talked about, and that's truly what they believe and feel, it is helping the agency out, because it's going to weed this out. I'm going to show you, look, this guy is lying to you.
Get the copy of everything, write out, let us know exactly what the issue is that you're the cards that you're holding. Lay it out for us so we can see.
So at this point,
we can take action.
Seeing his testimony, I will now show the cards that prove that, he.
Okay.
But you have to understand that, had I shown all that, he would have said something different, because the one thing he wasn't going to say is the truth. I knew that from the start, and I think other people might have assumed that, right? You don't know. You weren't there. What your personal thoughts or feelings are, I don't know. They could go either way. I knew he was going to lie. So if I give him every bit of information that I have, he knows what he can't lie about.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I did that, he created that web that I thought he might create. And now I just wanted to see, the way this has gone, I feel like I have been seen as more of an annoyance. And, Miller also said that, what I'm doing serves no legitimate purpose, which it was, I think, the bottom of the second or third paragraph in the email response. Which I think that's a slap in the face to a lot of people, because this absolutely serves a purpose. I don't just go do this everywhere. I didn't come looking for this. This is something that came to me. We've gone around and around. This is something that came to me. Something happened. I tried to correct it. And 9 months later, here we are, because we're still dancing around little tiny things, and things are being ignored. Also, in his response, I'll see what's in the file, but I didn't see addressed. He said, I can Google search your name and come up with this information, but he didn't touch on the lies and the misinformation that Shadrach published, along with my personal information, right? He didn't touch on that stuff. So
what I would suggest is lay it all out for us so we can read it and look at it. That's all.
Absolutely. So is there an interest to see, the bottom line, because that was sworn testimony that he gave, right? Shadrach, in that investigation, sworn testimony. So just as a blanket, not even talking about him, that's taken pretty seriously. If it is found that an officer has lied in an investigation with sworn testimony, the department would take that seriously and want to take some sort of action, right?
We would take it seriously.
Now, is this still going to fall within that 180 days, or do I have to file something new? Because we're at like day 150.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
So I probably need to file a new complaint.
I don't know the answer to that. I would get that information over to the detective as soon as possible.
Okay. I need to get the information too as soon as possible so I can see. But
And she's helping you out with that, right?
yeah, I guess I need one more thing other than just the transcripts. But
Fantastic.
I guess I have to restart the 180-day clock. And so you know, I don't want to keep doing this. Like I said, I wanted to be done 9 months ago. I hate that it just won't end. Just what's right. It's all I'm looking for. Nothing extra, just what's right. That's it. I don't want to restart the clock. I don't want to. So, all right, let's see. Well, what do you think? And by restart the clock, I'm again referring to that Officer's Bill of Rights that we talked about in a previous video. Definitely check those out if you haven't yet. Playlist link in the description and in a pinned comment. But that statute defines that an agency only has 180 days to complete an investigation, and anything beyond 180 days, the accused officer can no longer be disciplined for anything regardless of the findings. And we're at over 150 days in this investigation, and I genuinely don't want to make another complaint. I don't want any of this. But we're beyond 150 days, and I have to wait on the public records before I can do anything else. So restarting that 180-day clock really is the only fair way, as much as I don't want to do it. Much of this could have been avoided if some of the administration here wouldn't be afraid to talk on camera, as is my policy. I can't violate my policy, but we may have been able to handle it. Check out the rest of this story and more, and stay tuned for sure.